Welcome to a new episode of Beginner's Mind. My name is Chris. Today I have the next interview from the LSG2G platform. It's April the 5th and the coronavirus is holding the world hostage still. Scientists all over the world are extremely hardworking to solve the riddles the virus throws at us and trying to analyze the severity of the illness, developing diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines. Relevant basic research usually happens on the university level and research institutions. The job actually of developing a scientific achievement into a product for patients happens usually in companies. In between, there is the mystic phase of tech transfer. What this is, what challenges organizations have to face, and how it is done, you will learn in this episode. I'm delighted to welcome Saara Inkinen from Finland. Saara, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Chris. And also, first of all, thanks very much for the invitation and the opportunity to participate in this podcast.
You're welcome. Saara, you're a tech transfer and innovation management expert. What kind of background do you have to do your job?
I currently run my own consulting business, Nordic Catalyst, here in Vienna, but I originally come from Finland. And my journey to tech transfer and innovation management happened actually stepwise during the years, and maybe in some sense it may seem quite linear, first going from research to tech transfer and then to being an entrepreneur. But it actually involved many different professional positions and also several different countries.
That's great. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you end up working in tech transfer?
Well, education-wise, I originally definitely wanted to study science and did study science. And I'm very motivated by challenges and also wanted to do something that matters professionally. And I first did a master's degree in chemical engineering and industrial economics. Started that in '99 at Åbo Academy University in Finland, which is actually the only Swedish-speaking university in Finland. And part of this degree I also did at University College London, UCL in England, where I studied biochemical engineering. And during my studies, I already started to work in the chemical industry, also with chemical R&D. And I thereafter started to work as a scientist with bio-based and biodegradable polymers, first in a research center and later in a company called Tate & Lyle Finland. And I was there until 2009. And thereafter I moved to the academia, but to work in different industry-sponsored research collaboration projects with various topics, for example, biodegradable packaging materials, industrial adhesives, or bioresorbable implants. And as I was working in the company, I already started also to work on my doctoral thesis. I did this on biopolymer modification and synthesis, and I finalized it on the side of my main position in 2011. And then maybe finally coming to the stage where I have my first connection to tech transfer. As a researcher, I often saw how many great innovations were successfully commercialized and also taken into use. But on the other hand, I also saw how many potentially valuable inventions were left completely unused and unexploited for different reasons. Sometimes this was due to the lack of funding. Sometimes there was no suitable team to take it forward, and sometimes due to other priorities, such as, for example, just simply the next research project coming up.
Saara, you were talking a little bit about tech transfer. What exactly is tech transfer?
Well, tech transfer typically refers to the commercialization or practical implementation of inventions developed in research organizations. And but I think of this field really broadly and not just as a one-way street from the academia to industry or to companies. And actually sometimes also in the same context the term knowledge transfer is used just to describe these various interactions between research organizations and companies, and also of course the public sector in general. And yeah.
That's great. You founded your company Nordic Catalyst in 2018 in Vienna. So practically that means your company seems to be 2 years old this month. Is it right?
Yes, that's correct. It's been 2
congratulations.
years already. Thank you. Time really flies.
Yeah. In TechTransfer, what kind of services do you provide?
Well, I can maybe divide my services, my consulting services, into 3 different categories. So far, the most popular project or service type is commercialization support for early stage projects related to scientific technologies. Typically, these are chemistry, chemical technologies, or life science related concepts. And inside the projects, then the topics range from concrete business development, business planning support, also to helping the teams to prepare funding applications or presentations or different types of materials. It really depends on the project. I think it's impossible to say that what the project could be for each type. I mean, all the projects are individual and with individual needs.
Absolutely. Who usually approaches you? Who are your clients?
Well, I work both with research organizations and companies. So in addition to the commercialization support, I also do some R&D support related to polymers, as I mainly did research on that years ago. And in addition, also IP exploitation support. So I support both companies and research organizations to, for example, find potential licensees, systematically support the negotiation process as well. And also, I also do actually workshops related to tech transfer and innovation. So yeah, so it can be both research organizations or companies.
I myself come from the financial side, and for the phase after tech transfer, we have the term valley of death. So it's really challenging to finance such projects. I think tech transfer is very interesting because it brings technology from the university in a commercial setting. What kind of challenges do you typically face when you engage with a new project?
Well, yes, as mentioned, all the projects are of course unique, but there are also some common features. And maybe regarding tech transfer in research organizations, or from their point of view, and also, of course, looking at it as a consultant, I would say that the typical challenges are sometimes related to the scalability of the tech transfer support operations, to be able to adapt to the changing needs of the organization. So sometimes there's a lot of projects needing support. Sometimes a lot of technologies coming to the commercialization stage. Sometimes teams needing support for founding a startup company, for example, but also the identification and assessment of the most promising inventions from research organizations. Yeah, I would say at least this.
What is your typical role when you help your clients to overcome the challenges? What are you doing for the clients?
Well, I work now with tech transfer since 2012. First in Finland, and then later coming to Austria. So in Finland, I was responsible for a whole university's tech transfer, and I also founded there a nationwide network called Innovation Champions. And this, for the first time, actually connected all the tech transfer professionals of the universities and public research organizations in Finland. And that was in that way a good opportunity to also get insight into how different types of universities, different types of research organizations handle these kind of challenges. So I would say definitely that it's my strength that I saw tech transfer in different countries. And my first position was in the US when I was doing business studies at Kellogg School of Management. And at the same time, also there, my first touch to tech transfer was at the Innovations and New Ventures Office of Northwestern University in 2012. So I don't know, I think this kind of overall insight into how the research side works, how the tech transfer side works, and on the other hand, how to make business how to make new products, new services from scientific innovations. I think these, and also definitely also my network. So for example, the Life Science Get Together network.
Tell us more about your network.
Yeah, so I mentioned that I've lived in many countries and also in tech transfer have had very many different interactions in the field, also internationally. And networks, I really think that this is one of my main advantages in this. And I mentioned Life Science Get Together network, where we also met earlier, maybe also almost 2 years ago, I think. And and then also in Finland, the strong network of tech transfer professionals, also all the time working with international projects and with international partners is of course an advantage. Yeah.
Talking about international partners, and I think what we have in Europe is a very unique environment for world-class deep tech life science projects. When I look on the commercial side, I always ask myself, how does it develop, and in what direction is life science going? How do you see the tech transfer scene developing in the future in Europe?
Well, I think during the past years, it's definitely already become more and more systematic and organized, and also the global trends, digitalization, challenges like global warming, and for example, sustainability of healthcare, of course, also reflected in this field and in the interactions with companies. And I would also say that regarding also the networks, that it's become more network-based, which means that there are more interactions at different points of time between different organizations. It's not just a linear process, definitely not.
What is the biggest challenge in Europe that you see in tech transfer at the current stage?
Biggest challenge, I think sometimes it's the flexibility. So I think, for example, patentable innovations need support. They have a certain timeline, and they need expert support. So it's finding the right experts and the right support at the right time. Also thinking about the startup teams, for example, and how new business is created.
So let's think a little bit about, I have a coaching background, so one question I love very much. Let's think a little bit about a perfect world. And let's assume all problems were solved for tech transfer. How would it look like, in your opinion?
Well, I'm an optimist, so it's definitely something to aim for. Difficult to say. I think then in that case we would have a very smooth collaboration and interaction between research organizations, the private sector companies. I think that it would definitely be even more tightly connected. Also, the valley of death would not exist, at least. Of course, if it would be perfect, it wouldn't exist. But in that sense, also funding-wise, availability of funding would definitely should increase.
So if I got it right, it's connectivity and funding that you would recommend to improve in Europe.
Yes.
I mean, these days when I open the newspapers, I think everybody is aware of the special situation that we have with the coronavirus and with COVID-19. It's not only located in Europe, it's also in Asia and in the United States. What kind of role does tech transfer play in solving such worldwide challenges?
I think this kind of situation definitely highlights the importance of efficient technology transfer, and also the importance of science is definitely unquestionable in this situation. So I think that way it is beneficial for the visibility of the field. So definitely now more than ever we need efficient transfer of new innovations and scientific information as well, from the research community to companies and other organizations that can utilize and exploit them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree to that. I think what universities need is the support of experts like you in tech transfer, who help them define the commercial asset and also have the right networks in place. So I completely can agree to that. So one last question from my end. During your journey in tech transfer, and you have gained a lot of experience, including founding your own company. And with all that experience you gained, what advice would you give your younger self?
I think many small tips, but overall, now when looking back at my career, I'm really happy about having had so many different positions and also variable positions during my career. And maybe thinking about the entrepreneurship. So I was 39 years old when I founded Nordic Catalyst. So maybe the one piece of advice that I would give to my younger self, for example, 20 years ago, is that I would probably encourage myself to found a business or go into a startup team even earlier, maybe even as a student. And I really think that this is the best and most fun way to really deeply learn about business development from another perspective, and also in many ways to develop professionally and also get to know different people from all over the world and from different fields. So I think entrepreneurship I would definitely take into my professional life even earlier.
Well, entrepreneurship is a great thing. I can only recommend that to the people. Saara, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
I wish you all the best for the development of Nordic Catalyst, and I'm pretty sure that your services are highly needed in the coming years.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Please share the podcast and make sure you've subscribed. Have a great day.